I'm sorry we're late. He was messing with the internet and he just took it down and it didn't work. But apparently it's working now. Yes? It's not speaking to us because the
internet's working.
Yeah, because the cables for the cameras are being problematic. Dearie me. Right. It's the start of a new week. Very cold start to the new week. So I'm going to start with this. Well, this is from Jan. Do you know, I've got a pair of glasses that I leave here. Somebody's stolen them.
You want to borrow these ones?
Okay, leave prescription.
No, darling, I just wear them to make me look good.
Oh well, no luck there then. Right, this is from Jan actually, which is lovely. Goodness gracious. Thank you very much, Jan. Don Marquis. Procrastination is the art of keeping up with yesterday. That's very good. W.C. Fields. I cook with wine. Sometimes I even add it to the food. I like that one. Jim Carrey. Behind every great man is a woman rolling her eyes. Ooh, that's very funny. Isn't that right, dear?
What's that?
Behind every great man is a woman rolling her eyes.
That's very true.
Very true.
Several women in my case.
I know you're the luckiest man ever. Would you like your glasses? Do you need your glasses?
Well, I haven't got any glasses.
I don't know. I got a pair of glasses on the.
In the car?
I know. I don't know. This is from the Massachusetts Food Association. Oh. Thank you. This is a donation in honour of Sean Clancy. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And this is from Nathan Weschler and Company. And this is also in memory of Sean Clancy. Thank you so very much. That's very much appreciated as well. I'm going to put these together. Now, I think we've got the... I think we've found the pillows. Oh! Nick, would you shut the box over? I'm stuck in my wheels.
You didn't give me those glasses just for me.
Yeah. Okay. So this is from Gammy, who is also Lee. There you go, you can have those back there. And I think these might be the pillows that went missing a few weeks ago. And you know what the problem was? By the time we'd worked out that they'd gone to the other house, we were a day or two late. So when chasing down somebody's driveway to try and find pillows that were delivered a few days ago would have been a bit problematic. Oh. I think if I take these out, I might cause a trouble because bed pillows to go with the pillowcases. I have a funny feeling that, given that this is two pillows, I think they might be in vacuum packs. So I'm going to leave them in the box. There are 6 of them in total. So that will do the futon. It will do Carlene's White House, and thank you. That's absolutely super. The other thing that came through is over here. Hold on. This is the wing mirror for the it's the wing mirror for the ride along scooter.
Yeah, okay, I'll put that on and try not to break it this time.
Thank you. That's much appreciated as well. That's
Yeah,
really
doing
good.
that in the knowledge that they will never be used.
No, she doesn't pay the blindest bit of attention to wing mirrors, as we all know, which is great, not a problem. So, it was Lee that sent the Gammy that sent the pillows, because she also sent the pillowcases, and but we didn't get the pillows because they went to, what was it? I'm not sure which house they went to, because I certainly didn't recognise it. Right, so can I just say from Nick and I, from myself, thank you very much for all the really lovely birthday wishes and all the little funnies and the sweet things that you sent through, and also the anniversary wishes. They were really lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, that was nice. Thank you.
And we had a very busy weekend. It was just, the weather wasn't very much of our friend, and we had animals all over the place. It just takes you, I think, 4 times the amount of energy to get from one place to the other when you're wading through snow and ice. It's quite the undertaking at the moment. So we had, what did we do at the weekend?
We did a lot of snow moving.
Yes.
And
Slush moving.
yeah, it was
a
pretty
mess.
heavy. And we fed the animals.
We did, and we mucked.
And we mucked.
It's just normal.
Took a lot longer than it normally does because the weather was so horrible.
Yes.
And I can't, God honestly remember. It seems a long time ago.
It does seem a long time ago, and it's only Monday, Nick.
You know, I've been working today to try and get the camera going. I've actually made some progress. Like what you will see on my screen here is a lovely view of the roof.
Oh, not now.
Of Carlene's playroom, because, and the reason you're seeing that and not the arena is because the long cable that goes from that room to the arena doesn't seem to be working, which was the original cable for the camera that was in the arena when Service Dog were here, I think. And so there's obviously some fault along that cable that's causing it not to work, because I can get it to work on a shorter cable. So I think what I'm going to have to do is just order a 150 foot long Ethernet cable all in one piece, and run it from that end to the camera, just to make sure there's no problems, and then it should work. Yeah, but
You're looking a bit exhausted.
I know it's I've had to walk back and forth because I'm testing different things and different wires and different things, and you know, it's just a bit frustrating. Because it's actually quite entertaining watching those guys run around in there, like the big horses and the donkeys. They're having great fun in there, and I think everybody would like to watch it.
Yeah, and you can watch Wallace training as well, because he was here at the weekend.
So that's what's been going on. Bow's been here. Really, those stalls are pretty much ready to go, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
they just need to put the mats down, I think. The rubber mats. And so that place is looking good. And Janine painted the grills on the doors. Yeah. It's been a nice bright and cheery red colour. So they look good. And I fixed, well, there was a water problem in the barn, in the what do you call that room?
The feed room.
The feed room. So we'd had to turn the water off, which is why one of the reasons we've been having to shuttle buckets back and forth. But I've capped those off where it was leaking which means there's a set of taps we can't use, but the rest of them work. So hopefully, if we can get the heater fixed in there, a heater installed, which I think we've got in hand at some point this week, we should be able to start using that for hot and cold water, which will make everybody's life a lot easier, you know?
You're looking very nice.
Oh, it's because of the hat. Don't worry. No, I'm just gonna put my.
Well, you don't have anything near like thick enough trousers on.
No. I'm putting my snowmobile suit
Okay,
on.
okay.
I'm not screwing around today.
So nobody look in the background while Janine gets undressed.
We'll all stand back.
Yawn.
There's another channel called Goldy's X that we're going to start like.
So I read on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
I'm like so overwhelmed with the snow and the ice and the sand and the salt and the more snow. And I was like, I went home and took a nap today, and I woke up and I read it on Facebook. There's a feed of all of these people that live right in this area. People I know that are like, my horses are flooded in. I can't do this and never. So it's happening to everybody. It's not just us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that made me feel really
Yeah.
good. Everybody is, but I think we're doing really well because everybody else's horses are not only their stalls flooded,
Yeah.
but they have no place to put them. So the horses are sitting in
In
flooded
front
stalls
stalls.
and in the aisleways, and
Yeah.
because what happened was yesterday was really warm. We have all this ice. It's really warm, so it rained. Everything went on the top of the ice into the stalls, like it did on that one. We have one flooded stall. Like, okay, we have that horse in the arena.
Yep.
So that horse went into. So we put that horse in the arena, but like full stalls, full barns that have
Oh, wow.
runouts. That's happening to all the runouts.
I know.
Yeah.
And all the paddocks are, they're icy.
Yeah, we're actually doing really well
Yes,
here.
yeah, I'm surprised. So it made me feel better.
Yeah, I mean, it's been brutal. I mean, it really
Brutal.
has been just
Very
So
horrible.
many people that were like, this is the worst winter I've ever experienced. Why do I have horses? I'm like, why do I have
But-
horses,
Is that
goats,
by-
donkeys? Oh.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Goats is the problem.
yeah.
What did they do?
Well, I'm sure there's somebody caught this online somewhere, but they have attacked the door at the far end of that big stall, and they have broken said door. Yeah, they've also broken the other door.
They broke the door going in here.
Yeah, and then
Sounds
they
like they're going
attacked.
there,
Then they decided to attack the door into the feed room that Bow is working in, but he managed to stop them before they did any damage, and put them back in stall. They're just like
So they're back in their stall now.
they're back in their stall now because
So we have to do all this repairs. Okay, now I had a moment of feeling better.
Go
And
back to
you
Facebook.
have
Go back.
ruined it.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
I felt
Well, who put the goats in there?
because the goats have been stuck in the back barn, and they sit in the back barn and just boom,
well,
boom,
why do we know why?
boom. It's just, yeah.
Well, anyway, they've damaged that door. It's still closed, so we couldn't put them back in there now because
Because they're awful.
they're hooligans. Those guys.
Yeah.
Well, that one.
And they were trying to knock me off my ladder. So they were trying to
He
do
was
things
trying
up
to do
there.
the
I mean,
cameras.
they're
Okay, so
actually
that
just-
one goat grabbed me by the leg and flipped me over today,
Yeah.
which did not end well for me.
No.
And I'm glad nobody caught that on camera because I had some words with that goat.
It's okay. We don't have microphones yet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I
I was a little
I
mouthy
was
about
restrained,
that.
but I did use some choice words
Yeah,
for the goats. Yeah.
they are really like they're up in their game.
Yeah.
Is what I feel like they're doing. And she
I
grabbed me
think-
and just flipped me.
Yeah.
I sense that they're probably just worse because they've been stuck
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm worse. I'm worse. So, yeah.
Well,
we
don't worry. I went to go and empty I did the back barn. I went to go. Nick took a wheelbarrow out. He emptied it, and I was doing another wheelbarrow, and I went up to empty it. And as it's been really gusty here, and as I'm walking along, I heard this funny clacking noise.
Yeah.
And I thought, I wonder where that's coming from. I thought, quite conscious of the trees. There's a branch, a big branch. It's leaning on the one above my head and going bink, bink, bink. And I'm like, I'm going to leave the wheelbarrow here. I don't care if it freezes, but I'd rather not have a branch on my head.
Today's not the day.
Today is not the day. It was too cold. That's for tomorrow. So,
Yeah.
so we're dodging everything at the moment.
God,
Apart from that, it's all going great.
What?
Apart from that, it's all going great.
Well, I was.
So I'm gonna
I gotta go.
fix the latch on that.
Well, they broke the latch at the end. That's
Well,
why.
that's the one I need. I'm gonna fix that one because the other one's not opening. Yeah.
Okay, and we just don't need.
We don't need anything like this.
Yeah. The only place that holds those goats is that paddock over at Meredith, and that paddock up here. That's
Yeah.
the only place they
Yeah.
can't. And they've already damaged the out of that one up here.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can put them on Puppy Hill because first of all, that one goat is now.
Lethal.
Who taught her to do this, but she is now taking me down.
Maybe we could.
It used to be fun. She'd like tap your hand, but this flipping you is not going to work. And
Maybe-
I told her very clearly that was not to be happening.
Yeah. Maybe we could rent them out to people like
that
to
hate-
Attack goats.
to check their new security and perimeter defenses.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I
Like,
mean, it's really.
Get sums of money. They could go work at the Pentagon or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that funny because she could break somebody's leg.
Well, she would actually.
And I landed in a snowbank on my back. Fuck that.
Fortunately.
Fortunately, it was a snowbank.
Fortunately.
But
Language, Nicholas.
yeah, I'm the problem with the goats. Maybe it's because they're so ornery. Because that white goat took me out. I fell in the aisleway the other day because that white goat just was like, "I'm gonna run through you," and ran right through me, knocked me over, and I landed underneath Arthur's back two legs, looking right up at his thighs.
Bow, who's working on the barn, who's generally very mild-mannered, he was even quite worked up about these goats today. He's normally pretty chilled out.
Oh, and you know, I was on Meredith doing the sheep this morning and the alpacas, and of course we have to put the sheep were having their vaccines, and in that barn is also the other 4 white goats. So they had a great big trough in there, all the hay. So the sheep are huddled in a corner, and the goats are standing in the hay trough, eating the hay. And the vet tech come in. They're like, "Oh, they love me. They're so
They're
cute."
cute until you have grain, and then they will jump on you.
Yep.
They will run you over.
I know.
There's nothing you can do.
No, they're lethal.
You know, I did find out today though. The goats are afraid of nothing. They're not even afraid of the dogs.
No.
But the horse, or whatever his name is.
Well, no, you know who there else. This will make you laugh, right? But last night I was watching the camera. It was around about 5:30, and these goats came in, and they were sort of, going around like doing their stuff. And Elvis and Maybelline were in there, and Maybelline went up to them and went, and they went out of they got out of the stall. Maybelline was.
They're not afraid of me at all.
Yeah.
I yell at them. I flap my little things. They're like, yeah, whatever. But maybe I should get some horns.
I think that's what
Yeah.
we're missing.
I think
I'm
they
gonna
take
go- I
that
gotta
as
go
a
catch-
challenge.
Go play outside.
I gotta go catch Bow and talk about today's goat repairs.
Yeah, I know. Oh dear.
Very
Very
cool.
cool.
This hat. I'm really liking it. Keeps my ears warm.
That's your
Very
that's
kind
your
of,
mummy's coming home hat.
Oh, well,
When is your mummy coming home?
Okay, so I talked to my mother. She is terrified about the cold right now. She doesn't want to come home. She doesn't, because we're supposed to have this cold weather for the next 4 days,
Have we got another storm coming in?
and a storm on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving to go to South Carolina. No, just kidding.
I was like, when are we going?
So I just talked to her. She really is serious. Like, she's like, I don't want to.
She's probably worried about the power going out.
She's worried about the power, yeah. So she is backpedaling, and she's feeling better because there was a couple days where 2 weeks ago we couldn't even have mail call with her because she was so she had an infection, but she's clear as a bell and doing really well. She's doing her exercises.
That's
but
good.
She's concerned because we don't have a generator. And she's concerned if we lose power on Thursday for the
Oh, I
generator.
think that's quite a valid
That's
concern.
a valid concern. I have a generator. It's one of those gas ones, and so I could get a heater on for her. She's like, no, I really want. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm still talking to her. That's where we're at.
Well, as long as you're still talking to her, and we're in negotiations.
Yeah.
It's terrible when you have to negotiate with people to come home.
I know, really.
It's actually really annoying because we had generators.
I know we had generators.
Yeah.
I know we had generators. Now, not only do we not have generators, they just cut all the wires.
Oh.
everywhere.
I think that's what's happened to those cables,
Which
Yeah.
cables?
the camera cables.
No, I wonder if it wasn't working in the first place. I've
was
managed
working.
to work out what's going wrong
Okay.
with
Where's
the
the
camera there.
cables?
That long cable I'm using is
Junk.
there's something wrong with it, so
Okay.
we need to run a new cable.
But if you go into the White House now, they just cut all the cables so that you can't. You have to
We have to redo all the cables.
you have to redo all the electricity and all. It's a mess. All right, but I gotta run because I gotta catch
nasty.
Bob before he goes. to talk about
Okay.
his goat repairs.
Well, we will see you soon, if you're lucky. So, there this morning I went to do the, excuse me, I went to do the, help the vet hold the goat, not the goats, the sheep and the alpacas on Meredith. So that was super fun. And, yep, I think I was the only one out of the three of us standing. Well, Emily was still standing because the sheep knocked the vet over and then the alpacas knocked the vet tech over. Honestly, what a day. And I'm going back there to do evening chores after mail chat. And that's really where we're at. So it has been one of those really odd, very busy days. In fact, I think I said in a Daily Doggy, I'm going to stop saying they're busy days. Every day is a busy day, but it was quite interesting because we had the vet to do the sheep and the alpacas, so that was nice. And gosh, is there ice? There's just ice absolutely everywhere. Absolute chaos. So what's your first question, darling? Because I am...
Well, I don't seem to have a good list of questions.
Okay. Carla has seen you in the barn today with cameras, working hard. That's how we like him.
Well, I was working hard. I can't say I was working very effectively. Yeah.
I had a lovely birthday, thank you.
Did you?
I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we got that nice food from Burton's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did. So there.
Mm.
There's nothing better than nice food. I think Wanda's still in the car. She doesn't come out when it's like this. It is blowing a gale here, and it is awful to the degree that when you're driving along, you feel that your car's about to take off. And I was sitting talking to Emily in the driveway in Meredith, and the car was going like that. I mean, we were stationary. That was not funny. But hey, lots happening. So on the driveway, that is sand and calcium. Is it chlorate?
Yeah, some pet-friendly mix.
Pet-friendly stuff. I don't think Carlene wants to come home on Wednesday, by the way, Carla. I think she's gone off that notion. So if she's coming home on Wednesday, we might be dragging her kicking and screaming. And that's not fun or fair. So we'll have to wait. See, the dirt in the driveway is actually helping. The only problem is it does melt, the salt part of it and the sand. It does melt, but then the weather temperature is so cold, it then refreezes. So what you've got is very nice, shiny, shiny sand under a layer of ice. So it just looks dirty. Look, I've got that big sunshine in my head again.
No, it does. I mean, it makes a difference,
It does.
but you still got to make sure you wear your cleats, you know,
Yeah.
on your feet, because otherwise you're sliding. And that stuff yesterday was very heavy because you had snow, then you had rain, and then you had sleet on top of it. So shoveling that stuff was
Miserable.
not a lot of fun.
No.
But
Yeah, a clown horn on her scooter would be fun. Yes, they've sent the mirror, so that's super. Thank you, Dodie. Oh, yeah, the floor's down. It went down at the weekend. It's lovely.
yeah, the floor looks great.
We haven't done our fried bacon yet. I did not get my birthday pizza. I had really beautiful, what's it, blue-legged crab? Blue legged crab
Cakes.
and I also had short ribs, and I also had key lime pie.
Did twice. 2 days in a row. Yeah.
Oh, because it's really terrible when you're so tired by at the end of the day, but you're really, really, really hungry, and then
Have no energy to cook.
and you've got no energy to cook. It's
And
slightly
you couldn't stomach another one of Nick's pizzas.
and that. Although they are super, it's really quite it's quite tricky. After this is done, you should take a vacation. When did you last have a vacation?
I can't remember. I think it was at least 10 years ago.
There you go. Yes.
Probably, maybe about 8-9 years ago.
Yeah. I think it's probably time for a vacation. I'm not sure whether or not we'd get away with that. Your efforts are very much appreciated, Nick.
We'll get there.
We will get there. The White House is coming along well. It's really difficult because there's a whole team of gentlemen that work on it, and the access, they come from New Hampshire, and it's not easy for them getting here. So the team isn't quite working at full strength at the moment, because I think there's only one of them. But you know, they're keeping on. They do a great job. They're very efficient when they are here, and it's getting there. It's just really difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, and I feel bad for them because they're all Brazilian. They're probably used to warmer weather,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, they are. Because they keep saying to me, it's another day like this. And I'm like, yes, it is. Sorry. Apologies. They're so lovely, though. Your Carlene is not wanting to come home on Wednesday by the sounds of it at the moment. We're trying to coax her home. But I think, you know, she's quite right. You know, if the electricity does go out, and it is super windy, if the electricity does go out, I mean, it's miserable, absolutely miserable. And the only place that's got a generator is my house, and she can't get.
We can't have horses in the house. I put my foot down on that one.
And there's no way she would be able to comfortably get in and out of my house, because it's a bit of a it's like you take your life in your hands going in and out of there at the moment because it's so icy. So
Oh yeah, she couldn't. I mean,
she couldn't get up there,
no,
and we can't drive up
we
there
can hardly
either.
Get up there, you know.
I walked down there with 2 big tub trugs of exceptionally hot water, you know, for a hot mash for the animals, and I am so paranoid that I slip and I scald myself with this water. And also, not only that, if I spill that water, it's just going to be another ice slick. So I'm like, oh, every time I go out, it's horrific.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have that hot water on again pretty soon.
Yes, that would be super.
In the barn, and we won't have to be hauling that around.
Oh, there's
the
our
place.
Pam watching. Hello, Pam. I saw Pam this morning. She was working very hard in Meredith. Yeah, it's really difficult for the horses because, you know, I think this is where you realise that we're all in the same boat together. There's so much flooding. It's a mess, and you know, we're actually in a better position than we maybe realise, because our stalls are all dry apart from one, and it's the one at the very back in Tanner's, and it's just one of those things. But you know, we're getting by. That arena is an absolute godsend in all honesty, because everybody's getting turnout and it's so safe. And you know, it's really funny, somebody said to me that the surface of the arena froze, it hasn't. I mean, we've had really awfully cold weather, and it hasn't frozen yet. It's probably all the animals breathing in it, mind you. The surface hasn't frozen.
No, it seems good. I mean,
Yeah, it's been.
I mean, I guess round the edges where the doors are, like on the outside,
Yeah,
there's a door right at the back going
Yeah.
towards Tanner's. It's
Tanner's.
a little bit frozen there, and there's a little bit frozen just at the big door going into the paddocks.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the arena itself is still like sand, you know. I mean, or not sand, but stone dust, you know.
yeah. So
Uh-huh.
so we've been really fortunate. So from that point of view,
Maybe it's the liberal dosage of warm poop that keeps it from freezing.
yeah, but we pick that up twice a day. But that's really it's just it's such a super thing to have, because the animals can go in there. It's a safe surface, and it keeps them moving, and it keeps them interested in things.
I tell you something though, it's quite scary being in there when the wind's going.
Oh, aha.
The sounds, it makes a lot of noise.
It does.
You know, blowing against that thing,
Yeah,
because it's somewhat flexible.
yeah. So yes, we should be counting
But
our
it seems
blessings.
I mean, there's no structural issue with it. You can just hear the wind bouncing off it. It's really solid.
Oh, it's the horned goats that have been problematic. Little stinkers. Well, so the funny thing is about those horned goats, I took them in because I was told that the person who owned them was in a hospice situation. And then somebody else told me it was because they kept headbutting somebody's toddler. Whatever the situation is with the little stinkers, they definitely are very strong, very headstrong, and I mean they're very sweet, but it's actually Mabel's problematic. She hooks your leg with her horns, and A, it's exceptionally sore, and B, you know, it's something that you just don't want to have happen when there's people here, and they're destroying the farm, they're destroying the fencing, they're destroying the doors.
Safe to say we will not be taking them out on any nursing home visits.
No. They're little stinkers. Well, you see, and the problem with it is they have a massive stall all to themselves, and they've got food, and I put
Rain.
I put things under. I hide things in their hay, so they have to go and search for it, you know, just to try and give them a bit of entertainment. And they're just up to nonsense. And it's the way that they are when they're in a paddock. They just take a notion, and they're often they're like Vikings, aren't they?
Yeah, they are a bit like
Oh, they're like
Vikings.
conquering everything. They're absolute pests.
I hope no Vikings in the audience are offended by that last statement.
Goats gone wild for the Goldy's XXX channel. Yeah, I mean they're lethal. Very scary things. And there's Coral as well. Hello, Coral.
It's funny, you get all those cute little videos on Pinterest and Facebook of all these lovely little goats like hopping around and being playful and cute. And
Those are
nice.
not our goats.
Meanwhile, over at Goldy's,
It's like we've got goats on steroids. Oh dear. Well, you see, while they're causing so much destruction and trouble on here, you do know that they're going to do exactly the same thing wherever they go. So it's actually very difficult trying to find somewhere that's safe for them, and and stimulating for them. And yeah, it's a problem. It is a problem.
Roger Reed said, stupid question here, but are there horses in Iceland?
Yes, there are. There are Icelandic horses, and they tolt, which is a different gait, and it's apparently very smooth to ride.
And are they big, stocky
No,
horses?
they're not. They're quite short-legged but very strong and very hardy.
Mm-hmm.
So they're. and they're very sure-footed. We have 9 goats in total. So we have 5 goats on here, the 4-horned goats, Mr. Single Pringle, who's our white goat, and then the other 4 white goats, who are actually Single Pringle's herd, but they are on Meredith because he doesn't like them. See, Bella's goats were the same way. Do you want any more goats, Bella? We've got really lovely ones.
She lied.
Yeah, the goats are quite something or other.
How come you have those 4 goats? What is the purpose of having them?
They were rescue goats. I was asked to take them by the vet. That's the only reason I took them.
We're still trying to find the purpose.
Oh, somebody cancelled the storm for Thursday. That's even better. Can't Carleen just stay in her house? Well, if you mean the house, I live in the house, and there's no way she can get in and out of that house. That's been the problem with the house. You can't get the car up round to the back. So that's absolutely, unfortunately, inaccessible for her. And she couldn't get in and out of the cabin. And she's actually in a wheelchair at the moment. So it needs to be wheelchair accessible. The house isn't. The cabin isn't, and what we've built down here is, because it's all on one level, and it has the wet room for the bathroom so that she can roll in and roll out, and it's easy access for her. So that's why that's what we've built that for, and it's just, we just need to encourage her to come back home now.
Roger's suggesting Valium for the goats.
I think actually the rest of us need Valium. I don't think it's the goats that need Valium. Oh dear.
Valium and ibuprofen for the bruises.
Or tennis balls for the end of their horns. That's what I'd put on them.
Well, it's not really the ends they get you with, though, is it? They get you with the bit of the front when they go...
No, that's not what she's doing. What she does is she hooks you like a shepherd's crook. She hooks you round the thigh with her horn, and then she wrestles you to the ground. Mm-hmm. She is terrible.
Yeah, Bella's going to pass on your kind offer of goats.
Well, I'm disappointed. I don't know if we can be friends if that's the
her
case.
Goats were menaces. Hard to believe, but true. And jumping fences, running around the neighbourhood.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring, though.
Maybe they're related to our goats.
In fact, maybe we've got her goats. Hang on a minute.
Hold on, Bella. You better not have
dumped those goats on us.
Goats onto us.
Hey, apparently that storm's been downgraded. That doesn't mean they won't upgrade it again. Oof. So, well, we don't know if she's going to choose to come home on Wednesday or not. So, it's like everything. It's changing on a daily basis. So, we don't know.
Somebody was asking about the kitchen cabinets, whether they were fitted in. They are in place. They're just not fitted to the wall yet. But we're thinking that'll probably happen tomorrow or the next day. Just and we kind of came to the conclusion that the kitchen was the last thing that needed to be done. As long as there was a sitting area, sleeping area, washing area, you know, in terms of the bathroom and everything, that it would be okay for Carleen to move in, and then we'll finish the kitchen off in the coming days. But you know, still hopeful that it'll all be done by the time she moves in there.
Yeah, so they've maybe had an ongoing problem with the cables. I think the difficulty they had was, you know, they had to take all their cameras out. So I think the easiest thing for them to do was to just
Snip the cables.
Snip the cables. You know, it's an easy removal job. So it is what it is. You know, we may as well start afresh and get it right. There's not much you can do about it, you know.
It's just, the thing is, running cable's actually a pain in the butt, because you gotta drill holes through things. You gotta, you know, attach them to the walls. You gotta put them through tight spaces, and it's easy to do when you're doing a new build, but it's harder to do when you're doing it as a retrofit.
Yeah. But we'll get there, and you know, we'll do it properly, and that means that, you know, somebody's just said that there was a problem with the sound in the arena. It might be something to do with the fact that it was a tiny little microphone. I said to Nick, "What's that?" And he went, "That's the microphone."
Well,
So-
yeah, I mean, they actually had a microphone hanging up there, like it's like a microphone like a singer would use.
Yeah.
And my understanding with those types of microphones is they're designed to capture
There.
the voice immediately in front of it, but not from a distance.
Right.
You know, so
These are all little bits and pieces that, you know, they've obviously had a problem themselves. So it is better to start fresh and get it right.
yeah.
So
And I dare say when we get ours up, there'll be problems. You know.
goes without saying, really. Actually, no marmalade sandwiches yet, but I was very naughty. I actually had marmalade on toast and it was delicious. So there. It's just somebody hasn't made the bacon yet. Nicholas,
Yeah. Well. Yeah. We've just
you've been a bit
we've just
busy.
been busy. So we're sorry. We will do it, and we will report back, and we will send pictures.
Oh my gosh, there was a plane flipped in Canada. The dogs are all fine. They're not very keen on going outside, a bit like Ziti.
Other than Noodles.
Other than Noodles, he loves outside. Nutty Noodles.
I think we will. Somebody's asked about a generator for Carling's. I think we will get one there eventually, but you know, it's on the list. You know.
I think we'd kind of hope that what we would do is if we would be able just to buy the generator and pop it back in, but I think we're going to have to rewire it as well.
Yeah, it needs wiring, and you got to make sure you get the right size generator.
Yeah. So,
And you know, with everything else going on, it's definitely on the list. It's just not quite top of the list. And they're expensive. I mean,
yeah.
they are expensive.
Yes, it will be painted white later on. No, the wood stove was taken out. We're not going to use a wood stove in there. It's we're at a stage that if Carleen ran out in the middle of the night and, you know, we burnt through wood quicker, it leaves her cold. So that's not something that's...
And it is warm in there, I have to say. It is really warm in
Yeah,
there.
it is. They're very hard workers and they're super, Fernanda. Yeah, and I think the other thing is, you know, it's so icy at the moment. You know, we've not only to get her here, we've got to get her into the car to get her, you know, on the road to here, and it's miserable, really miserable. Yes, so we actually have to take the horseshoes off because the horseshoes slip on the ice. So all the horses are barefoot, apart from Murphy, who still has shoes on, but he's not really outside too much. And he seems to be very careful. So, yeah. So I actually have started driving the buckets of boiling water down, but the problem is I've got to get them out of the house and into the car. So the cars aren't up at the house; they're across in the parking space that's beside the graveyard field, because we can't get the cars up the driveway because it's so blinking icy outside the house.
Yeah,
so
and
there.
you can't drive down through the parking pit because it's all blocked with snow. And you would never get back up the hill into the parking pit. So you have to drive all the way down to the main barn and walk through the barn and the arena, and then, which involves about, I don't know how many doors there are there, but there's a significant number of doors to be negotiated, at least 5 or 6, I think. Yeah?
Yeah.
Heavy doors. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the horned goats are very entertaining.
I'm tired.
So it's really funny. I actually, when we'd been at auction, I actually found a fainting goat, and then Janine said no more goats, which I think is actually quite sensible. But then I thought about fainting goats. They faint when they get a fright or if something startles them.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know, if they ever came across a coyote, they would just fall down, and that's useless. Useless. But then again, they would be protected by the great big horned goats, which are a bit scary. So anyway, yes.
Oh gosh, but the problem is, like, if you had them in with the horned goats, they'd
Yeah,
be
and they're
fainting
fainting
all the time. They'd be like constantly unconscious.
Well, so they actually haven't. I haven't been able to put them out in that paddock because to get them from their big stall in Tanners, to get them all the way up the hill and into that paddock, it's very slippy, exceptionally slippy. So their little hooves slide out from underneath them, and when they're in the paddock, the snow's actually quite deep, so it sits on their stomachs, and I'm not sure that I really like them sitting with it that close into, you know, I don't think it helps with heat retention. So that's why, and their water freezes almost immediately. I'm putting tepid water out to try and, it's a nightmare. So that's why they're not out. We do let them out into the arena, but they're headbutting everything. Yep, they're problematic. I don't think we need Pomodoris at the moment because Janine goes to the hotel in the evening and Carlene's not quite back home yet. But thank you so much, Betty. That's very kind of you. I think fluffer nutters do not require cooking. Well, that's a relief. No, I got your question. Thank you, Betty. Ooh, a plane landed on its back in Toronto. That's getting even worse. Yes, I think there's very few of us here at the moment, actually. But Carlene will be back soon, we hope. Oh yeah, so we've actually done a veterans event a couple of weekends ago, and we've got another one coming up in March. So I think we'll be working with a gentleman who wants to use the farm. We'll be working with him, I think, once a month. So that's pretty good going, and I think it's difficult because the whole outreach program has really taken off, and it's very labour intensive. So the animals are really working 4 or 5 days a week. So and our weekends here we're run ragged on the weekends actually. So we have to be careful that we've got enough people to go and actually facilitate all the veterans things, because they tend to be at very different hours to our outreach. So we'll work it out and we'll get it all sorted. We're using the heated hose. Thank you so very much. That's what's keeping us going down at this end of the barn. Thank you, Joe. And we've got sand down. It's just been eaten by the ice, unfortunately. No, I don't think those goats have to worry about predators. And we're not getting a camel because they're very grumpy and big, and they spit. Yes, but we actually have I actually have an electric kettle in the house, but the cold water's not running at the moment. It's also been switched off, so we'd still have to go and transport it. And the problem you have with a kettle is that it's easy. There is a water heater in the feed room, which once we get the water running, it will come back in and function. When you use a kettle, you actually, we use, I would probably use about 2 kettlefuls in each feed. So
Yeah, it would take a long
it
time.
would take a very long time.
But,
And
I mean, it's a temporary problem. We'll
yes,
get
it is. But
We fixed some of the pipes yesterday, but to avoid there being a problem again in the future, we need to make sure there's a heater in that area, which involves getting a new circuit put in, because it has to be a pretty powerful heater. It's a 240 volt. So we're going to get an electrician to repurpose one of the circuits that was used for the air conditioning to make that a 240 volt 30 amp circuit, so that we can plug one of these wall heaters that's got a fan on it and gives a lot of heat, so that the pipes don't freeze in that area. We'll have it on a thermostat to make sure it comes on at certain temperatures. But we don't want to turn it on until, we don't want to use the water in there until we've got that problem sorted, because we'll just end up with burst pipes.
yes. That's actually an interesting question. You can remove the horns on the problem goat, but it then actually leaves her susceptible to being head-butted by the other ones. So I'm not sure whether, I would have to check with the vet to see how, whether or not you can dehorn goats that are that age. The white goats are dehorned, and interestingly enough, the animals are put in, when the vet's coming, we have to bring all the animals in the night before, because otherwise you're chasing the sheep around the paddock and it gets the sheep a bit stressy. So what we do is we coax them in, and they spend the night before shearing and their hoof trimming, and also their vet visits. They spend the night in the running barn with the barn door shut. So when we opened the barn door this morning in the vet tech and myself and Emily went in, one of the goats popped its head up, and it just had a trickle of blood from between where its horns would have been right the way down the side of its nose. And the vet said, "Is your goat okay?" I said, "Yes." I said, "They'll just have been headbutting each other." I said, "And this is what happens." I said, it's unfortunately one of those things, because some of them, the little, where they took the horns off, where they debudded them, they've still got little bits of horn left. So it's a tricky thing.
Also, can you imagine how angry he'd be with you if you got rid of his horns?
Yes, he'd be very pissed off. Yes, so the problem with pool noodles is, because I have thought about this, and tennis balls, they would eat them.
I think that's a horrible suggestion, to do anything like that with
noodles.
For goodness sake. What would come into the goats are a problem. They're not that big a problem.
Noodles is terrified of them. So the floor is done in the White House, yes.
It's just a small section of floor to be finished in
the kitchen.
That's it.
So Mary and her brother are coming back, and I think it's March. I'm hoping. That's if we're not still iced in. So that's coming up pretty soon. Yeah. See, this I feel is really sad. Fainting goats were used by farmers as sacrifice to save their more expensive livestock. I would be worried about that. Oh, Bud used to work on that sink. Yes, we've been consulting with Bud. I'm sure he'll come back. No, the belongings are in the Neutrina, is it Purina container, and they might be there for a little bit because it's very slippy, and it's going to be super fun trying to get them moved. Duct tape, yeah. There's I think we've actually got folding chairs. I think the problem is, what we don't want to do is clutter up. We've got the stools, and actually when she was in the cabin, she only had the stools. So and her desk chair. So there'll be two big chairs, and then we've got folding chairs should we need them. And Carlene doesn't use a table, so she'll use her chair. So she uses her desk and she uses her chair. She doesn't want a table. And in fact, the furniture that she had in the cabin is the only furniture that she wanted to take with her from the house. We didn't bother, nothing else went into storage, so that's what she uses and that's what she wants to have. The other thing is, if she is going to, they've delivered her wheelchair, and if she's going to be in a wheelchair, we actually need to keep everything as clear as possible so that she can move around safely. The key is going to be as minimalistic as possible, which is not easy because we're talking about Carlene. So we're going to try and put as little in as possible and then see how we get on with it. So, oh, look, what am I doing now? Yes, I hope that, you never know what's going on with the weather. It's deceptive in its ability to change very quickly. So that's us. That was Monday. It's still going. I'm away off to Meredith to go and do evening chores over there, and then maybe we could have marmalade sandwiches for dinner.
Maybe, I don't know, if we got bread, that's the key thing. I know we've got bacon.
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. So, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be back tomorrow. Have a good evening. Night, night.